I'm Jan Gartenberg, and today is the 2nd of June, 2015.
Okay. And Jan, can you tell us where was your family from, your relatives, your whoever, your parents, your grandparents, if you know where they came from?
My grandparents both are from Poland, Germany, and Lithuania. They were actually, my grandfather came over from Lithuania, I think it was Vilna. And don't exactly remember where my parents met, my grandparents met, but my father's parents were from Germany, and I didn't meet them because they died when he was 13 and 21 years old. I think it was his mother died, and then a week later he had his bar mitzvah. So it was very sudden. My parents were born in the Bronx, and that's where they were raised. And in fact, today is my mother's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. And then the father was in the service, in the Navy, and they moved to Hawaii from New York City, where they had their first two children, and that's my brother Brad, who's is currently a conservative rabbi, and brother Philip. His family lives in Jerusalem, in Israel. Then they moved to Southern California, Fontana, where I was born, in 1957, and then to near San Francisco, where my younger brother was born, and then back to Los Angeles, raised in Redlands, the city of Redlands, and then moved to Los Angeles in 1972, a year after my bar mitzvah.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood. What do you remember? What were the things that you enjoyed doing, or any hobbies that you might have had?
Well, I love to draw. In fact, that's where my first career took me. It took me to my first career of graphic design and drawing. I had a lot of friends when I was a kid. I remember a lot of after-school activities, a lot of crafts that we used to do as kids. I also loved to read. When I was a kid, I loved to read. And my parents made sure that I had a lot of reading material around me. I also loved to tease my brothers. I was very good at teasing my brothers.
That was a hobby?
It was a hobby.
I love it. Were you a good student?
I was a very good student.
Yeah.
Very good student. And I have a lot of memories of special teachers and special classes. I also played, I played the violin and I played the piano. I hated practicing. And if I had liked it, or I could have gone forward with it. My teacher said that I could have been a concert pianist, but I hated practicing.
I had the same experience. So, in high school, did you already have an idea, a direction in mind of where you'd like to go, what you'd like to do with your life?
We had a good friend who, daughter of friends of ours, who lived about half an hour, 45 minutes away. We spent every Thanksgiving with them, and sometimes in the summers, and birthdays with them as well. And their daughter Peggy she was in school at San Luis Obispo, which is 200 miles north of Los Angeles, and she was studying to be a graphic designer. And I decided that I wanted to do the same. I got out I learned how to do calligraphy, and I just had an eye for this type of thing. And I went to the same school as she did. She graduated, and then she kind of paved the way for me to go to San Luis Obispo. And I was there for 5 years. I started a college in '76 and finished in '81. I lived away from home. I was one of the first of my friends who lived away from home. I always saw that as a mark of achievement. It was a good school, and it was a good experience. I had my own business for a while as well, about 14 years.
Oh, very good. Besides work, what affiliations did you have? Jewish-wise or civic-wise that you were not maybe involved in?
I was involved with the temple in Culver City, where I was raised, as a camp counselor and a teacher, and also a teacher's assistant for a while. I also worked, one of the summers during college, I worked as a CIT advisor at a camp called Alanim, which is part of the Brandeis Bardeen camp in Simi Valley. I had also gone to Brandeis Bardeen for a year, for a summer, and that was a very eye-opening experience. It really opened me up to my Judaism. But a lot of camp experience when I was younger. Also went to Cub Scout camp. I hated that. And then my father wanted me to become a karate. He wanted me to get involved with karate to protect myself. So I did a little karate too.
So you were a graphic designer for a number of years, and then what? What happened after that?
Well, I took the graphic design with me to my business to Albuquerque, where Don and I lived, from 94 to 96. And mid-year, 95, I said to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to be stuck behind a computer desk. I had started graphic design before the computers came into being. And then I did a lot of work with my computer doing designs for people, and then noticed that they were doing the same things that I was doing on their computers. So I went to the rabbi and I said, I need something else. I need to work with people. And he kind of kicked me in the butt and said, get to nursing school. And so I started nursing school in 95, moved here in 96, and finished school in 99.
Where did you transfer to? What school here?
Texas Women's University. Great school. It was a great experience. I went through a 4-year program, and I'm very glad I did. I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Okay.
And I knew that I always wanted to do hospice work, so I went through the oncology and then hospice work, which I'm currently doing now.
You said you always knew, but how did you know? What was
A lot of friends were dying. I had seen a lot of friends die of cancers, and I said there's got to be a way I can give back and that I can help. I volunteered with a hospice organization when I was in college, but said someday I'd like to do it. Well, actually, back then I didn't know, because I was that's when I was in graphic design school, but I had volunteered with a hospice back then, so the seeds were planted very early on. But at that time, I was there for graphic design, so I went through that process. I saw friends die of leukemia, friends die of brain cancer, also friends of my parents who were very ill, and decided that was work I'd like to do. So that's how I ended up doing this work.
What company were you with originally?
Originally a hospice company.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a company at the time called St. Paul Hospice, which is now Community Hospice. I also worked with Vitas for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I went to work for 6.5 years with an oncologist here at Texas Health Resources Presbyterian at Texas Oncology. And then I worked at Faith Hospice, and then Vista Care, and now I'm with Silverado.
So all total, how many years have you been doing this?
5 or 6.
With your latest?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me a little bit about what was Dallas like when you got here, and what's it like now? What are the differences and changes that you've seen?
Well, if I can say so, I didn't want to come here.
You
I
can say.
definitely did not want to come here. Don, my partner, is a cantor, and was looking for, he was looking for placement in another synagogue, a larger synagogue than we had in Albuquerque. And he got this position in Dallas. I was looking at this position in Dallas, and I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to Dallas. I refuse to go to Dallas. If you want to go, you go. I'm staying here. Well, I didn't stay there. I just remember for the interview weekend, I had a terrible sinus infection. So my memories of Dallas early on were that I got here sick, and it gave me a headache and sinus infection. The arts in Dallas have blossomed. I was very active in our public radio station and got some arts programming placed on our public radio station that's still on there. And our love of theater has been well satisfied here, more and more. We belong to many theaters. We have season subscription tickets to many theaters here in town. And we're always, we used to be moviegoers and loved movies, but now it's theater. When everyone says, have you seen this movie or that movie? We don't have time. We don't have time, we have too much theater to go to. And then we'll say, have you seen this show? Which, I never heard of that. So it's our joy.
Do you have anybody that you could say would be your role model through the years? Or currently, it doesn't matter, whenever?
Yes. There are two. One is a teacher that I studied with in my nursing, when I was in nursing at Texas Women's University. Her name is Rita Martin. She's retired now, lives in Pilot Point. And she's become a very dear friend. She is someone I sat down with when I was in school and she helped me formulate what I would do professionally. And she remains a good friend, and we get to see each other socially once in a while as well. And another role model is a very good friend of mine who lives in Chicago. She mentored me when I was first doing hospice work here, when she lived here. Mm-hmm. Actually, I should say she was passing through here. She used to live here, but she was working for a hospice in San Diego on her way to move to Chicago. And she and I talk, I'd say every 2 to 3 weeks, and she's also been a mentor for me. She's quite a wonderful person. And then, of course, Dawn. Dawn's my favorite mentor.
What achievement are you the most proud of so far?
Wow. What achievement.
Or what thing? What in any area, what are you proud of?
I'm proud of the work that I do. I'm also proud of the work I did as a graphic designer. I used to do a lot of ketubas. My Hebrew and English calligraphy was very good, and I was very proud of what I produced. I'm proud of my home, and I'm proud of the relationship that I'm in. I think that it's a very successful and warm relationship that I'm a part of, and I'm thrilled that I could contribute to it as much as I can.
Very good. And in closing, so overall, was it a good move to come here?
Yes, because we built a really strong community. We have an endless number of friends. We were given, when we moved here, we were handed a community. It wasn't as if we moved here and had to find people to befriend. We befriended the congregation befriended us. And from that, we have made more and more connections in the city. A very, very positive move, and glad to be here.
We're glad you're here. Thank you.
Thanks.